coverage of tonight's game between the Gillen Dutchmen and the Colony Red Raiders. The Gillen Dutchmen have started off the year with a rough start, going 1-4 on the season, and they hope to bounce back after a tough win, a tough loss to the Shenandoah Plainsmen last time on Tuesday when they lost 49-36. They do have a tough challenge though as they go up against the Colony Raiders, who are 3-2 on the season, and with their starter Isaiah Mole averaging over 20 points a game. And as we have now, we have our starting lineup for the Gillen Dutchmen. As we saw, we have Brandon Hoffman just coming out. We had Matt Bender and Daniel Albright. And so Grant Mengel is the tallest player on the Gillen roster, number 23. He's been the leading scorer with 82 points on the season and has done a very good job offensively and defensively. To finish out the lineup, we have number 24, Ben Ortel, who has had very minimal time, but has had a lot of shots in the season and has been really good offensively for the team. And so we'll be back after the performance by the Gillen High School Chamber Choir for our national anthem.
Good sportsmanship is valued here at Gillen, and we are pleased you chose to support your team this evening. Please do so by refraining from negative cheers or comments directed at athletes, coaches, fans, and officials. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. Tonight's officials are Marty McGraw and Vinny Carnaval. Will you please remove your hats and rise for playing the national anthem performed by GHS's own chamber choir.
And we are back and just about to start the first quarter. And so as we mentioned before in previous games, one of the big difficulties for the Gillen Dutchman team is their height. The tallest man is Grant Mengel, standing at 6'3". So coming up against many players on the Colony Raiders who are 6'5", and their tallest Isaiah Mole, who's standing 6'7", it is going to be very tough to go up against a team that is so driven on height. It's going to be a tough match, but Grant Mengel will be going up against Isaiah Mole for the tip-off, and we will begin the game. And so as we saw in the standings, surprisingly, Gillen just behind the Colony Raiders. They're actually 1-3 on the season to 3-2. And we are underway in this first quarter of tonight's game. Currently knocked out of bounds, and Albright will take it out for the Dutchman. Hoffman brings it up for the Dutchman. Guarded by number 12, Will Ibar. Hands it off to Albright. Albright on the wing. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel up top. Passes to Hoffman. Hoffman to Mengel. Mengel drives in for the jump shot and falls short and picked up by Isaiah Mole, and he hurries it up the court. Mole on the wing. Drives in on number 2, Dan Albright. Gets it to Ibar. Back to Mole. He puts it up and one. And Isaiah Mole starts off the game on a nice note for the Colony Raiders. So the foul is on number 1, Matt Bender, his first on the game. And so we mentioned last time how both Matt Bender and Dan Albright got into foul trouble in the game. Matt Bender specifically, who had about 3 fouls prior to the half, so they have to watch out for fouls because at a team like this, you're going to need every possible player that you can have, and you want to make the most out of every possession. Bender on the wing. Tries to drive in, gets stuck at the top of the key, gets to Hoffman. Hoffman drives in. Steps back for the jumper and can't quite get it. Again picked up by Mole, and he brings it back up the court. Mole to number 1, Josh Ibar, can't get it. And multiple rebounds, and he just keeps getting his own rebound, but misses about 4 layups. A very crazy sequence, but they get it back, and it is now stolen. And Isaiah Mole with the slam. You knew that was going to be coming a wide open area for him, and you definitely know he's going to do that. And as we mentioned before, tallest player on the team at 6'7", and surprisingly handles the ball like a guard. Already has all 5 points for the Colony Red Raiders. And Grant Mengel has the ball knocked out of bounds by number 12, Will Ibar. Mengel on the side. Trying to find the open man, gets it to Bender. Bender guarded by number 10, Aaron Sadden. Bender driving on Sadden, turns around, gets blocked, and is fouled on the play. That'll be Sadden's first of the game. And one of the really good things about Matt Bender is his physicality offensively and defensively and his free throw percentage. Prior to this game, he's been 11 for 15 from the line, 11 of his 29 points on the season. And free throw shooting, as I mentioned before, it's small, but it does matter. And there he goes as he sinks both of his free throws, and they are only down by 3 as the Colony Red Raiders lead 5-2. Will Ibar gets it to Mole. Mole on the wing, guarded by Hoffman. And a swing back to Ibar, misses, picked up by Sadden, fight for the ball. And a nice pass to number 3, Shai Young. And another basket for the Colony Raiders. And there's a 30-second timeout for the Dutchman. And so one of the other difficult things is that Colony Raiders are a very high-scoring team. Isaiah Mole has scored 109 points on the season in just 5 games, averaging over 20 a game. And along with him, a lot of the smaller point guards, including brothers Josh and Will Ibar. Will Ibar is 60, while Josh Ibar is 51 on the season, so they're both averaging over 10 points a game. We have a lot of great free throw shooters. Josh Ibar, Shai Young, both are 100% from the line. And so it's definitely going to be a tough battle for the Dutchman, but we're going to have to see how it plays during this game. Albright will bring it up for the Dutchman. Gets it back to Hoffman. Back to Albright. Albright to Hoffman. Hoffman being guarded up top. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel to Albright. Albright trying to drive in. Gets the ball back. Trapped in the corner. Looking for Ortel. Can't quite get it. Gets it back to Bender. Bender to Ortel with the jump shot. And a nice bank off the glass for number 24, Ben Ortel. Very nice touch. Ibar gets it to his brother Josh Ibar. Mole up top. Gets it to Will Ibar. Josh Ibar gets it to the corner and gets knocked out of bounds. And it will be Dutchman ball. Hoffman to Albright. Albright brings it up for the Dutchman, gets it back to Hoffman. Colony Red Raiders starting to put on the press. Albright breaks through, gets it to Ortel, back to Hoffman. Hoffman up top, guarded by number 12, Will Ibar. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel up top, gets it to Bender. Bender to Ortel. Ortel, and he puts it up again. That's 4 points for Ben Ortel, and he's putting on a good performance here in the first quarter. Ibar to Sadden. Gets it to Josh Ibar. Mole. The long cross court pass to Will Ibar. Will Ibar back to Josh, back to Will. Gets it to Sadden. Sadden for three. Can't quite get it picked up by Mengel, and back to Hoffman, and here come the Dutchmen. Hoffman to Mengel. Gets it to Bender. Bender guarded by Will Ibar. Albright for three. Can't quite get it picked up by Mole. Mole brings it back up for the Red Raiders. Will Ibar up top. Gets to Sadden. Sadden to Josh Ibar. Back to Will Ibar, and here's Mole. Mole up top, guarded by Hoffman. He gets into the paint, and he gets it to number 3, Shai Young, for the basket. Albright brings it up. Guarded by number 1, Josh Ibar. Trying to get around him, gets it to Bender. Bender up top, gets it to the wing. Mengel. Mengel trying to drive in on Mole, gets it back to Bender. Bender up to Ortel with a nice fake, and he puts it in. Ben Ortel, what a great first quarter. He has 6 of the Dutchman's 8 points. Will Ibar gets it to Mole. Mole drives in. And an offensive foul called on Isaiah Mole. A great job by number 1, Matt Bender. That's one of his incredible defensive skills. He's been creating probably the most offensive fouls that I've ever seen on the Dutchman team, and that's been really contributing. Here comes Albright, gets it to Hoffman. Hoffman up top, looking inside. Gets it to the wing. Hoffman to Teeny, who just subbed in, but gets blocked by Mole. It will remain Dutchman ball. And it's definitely tough. Ryan Teeny, another one of the tall players on the team, about 6'3", similar height to Grant Mengel, and he got blocked quite well there. The 4 inches makes a huge difference. Hoffman up top, gets it to Bender. Bender around the screen. Looks inside. Gets it to Albright. Albright to Hoffman. Hoffman to Teeny. Teeny back to Mengel. Mengel drives in on Ibar. Goes in all the way, loses it, and it'll be back to the Red Raiders. And so right now, very tight-knit first quarter. Dutchman only down by 1 with a little over 2 minutes remaining. Number 12, Will Ibar. Gets it to his brother Josh. Josh Ibar looks in. Back to Mole. Will Ibar on the wing. Gets it back to Mole. Mole looks on the wing. Goes from deep and falls way short. Picked up by Mengel and back to Hoffman. Hoffman drives in with a nice pass to Albright, but he dribbles it back out. Bender to Albright. Albright to Mengel. A nice pass. Can't quite get it, but back to Hoffman. Hoffman to Bender. Just gets it before it goes out of bounds. Bender to Albright. Albright looking. Gets it to Teeny. Teeny to Bender. Guarded by Mole. Gets it to Albright. Albright driving, can't quite get it. Bender looks around. Teeny, back to Bender, and back to Mengel. To Albright, time ticking down on the shot clock with a tough jumper. Can't quite get it picked up by number 10, Aaron Sadden, and the Red Raiders come back. Will Ibar gets it to Josh Ibar. Tough pass that is knocked out of bounds, and it is back to the Dutchman. And so Dan Albright takes it up for the Dutchman. Trying to slow things down. Hoffman bringing it up. Guarded by number 12, Will Ibar. He drives in on Ibar. Can't quite get past. Gets it in the corner to Bender for 3, and he hits it. A nice shot by number 1, Matt Bender, and the Dutchmen take the lead. Under a minute left in the first quarter. Ibar brings it up. Down the corner to Josh Ibar. Mole to Will Ibar. Guarded by Albright. Gets it to Sadden. Sadden to Young. Young to Will Ibar. Goes around, finds Mole. Mole guarded by Hoffman. Can't quite get it. Josh Ibar in the corner. Young drives in. And an easy pass to number 23, Isaiah Mole for the basket, and they tie it back up. Albright to Hoffman. Bender comes around. Bender gets knocked to the ground, and he is fouled on the play. Red Raiders did not like that call, but the foul will be on number 1, Josh Ibar, his first team's third. And a sub in for the Dutchman, number 23, Grant Mengel, will come back in for the last 6.4 seconds of the game. So the Dutchmen down to their final shot in this first quarter. Bender takes it out. Hoffman dribbles. He drives in all the way. Gets it to Teeny. Can't quite get it. Just misses the shot, and that ends the first quarter. A very competitive game as it remains tied between the Colony Red Raiders and the Gillen Dutchmen, 11-11. So it seems like both teams this game have their key player. Ben Ortel, what a great job he's been doing. He's got 6 of the 11 points, and I definitely know that Isaiah Mole has at least 6. What an impressive performance that both of them have done. And so later on in the game, it's going to be more about that. Of course, this is a team sport, so it's going to be important for both teams not to just focus on one guy and start spreading it to others. And we've seen a lot better passing from the Dutchmen. The last game against the very difficult Shenandoah Hall Plainsmen, they were staying on the outside, trying to take these long-range shots. Now they're starting to work inside, trying to penetrate. And the penetration, that could easily get you to the foul line, and it could get you easier shots, because now the threes aren't always going to go in, and it's really good to mix up both your easier shots and your more difficult shots. And so it's really good to see some life in the Dutchmen. Again, a rough start to the season, 1-3 on the year, as the Colony Red Raiders are up 3-2 on the season, and they're looking for their 4th win on the season. Will Ibar gets it to Sadden. Back to Josh Ibar. Young to Ibar. Ibar to Sadden. Sadden to Ibar. Ibar back to his younger brother. And it is knocked out of bounds. It will remain Red Raiders ball.
Feel free to go get a chair from the cafeteria. Or kick Joey out and steal his chair.
Will Ibar takes it out for the Red Raiders. A long pass gets it to his brother Josh. Mole back to Josh Ibar and back to Will Ibar. Gets it into Mole. Mole with the spin move. Can't quite get it picked up by Mengel. And Hoffman brings it up. Hoffman bobbing and weaving. Gets it to Teeny. Teeny trying to try it again. Can't quite get it. And it looks like the threes aren't dropping for number 22, Ryan Teeny. It will go back to the Raiders. And so sub for the Colony Raiders, number 20, Donovan Canty, comes in. Will Ibar brings it up for the Red Raiders. Guarded by Hoffman, gets it to Josh Ibar. Will Ibar gets it to Sadden. Ibar to Ibar. Back to Mole. Ibar up top, gets it to Sadden. And Mole tries to get it, can't get the shot, and here comes Hoffman. Hoffman goes all the way to Albright, and what a nice pass from Hoffman to Albright. The Dutchmen take the lead. Very nice sequence of passes, and great to see the fast break, and great to see the energy from the Dutchmen. Sadden to Ibar for 3. Josh Ibar can't quite get it, picked up by Mengel, and here comes Teeny. Teeny goes up the court all the way, and a little too hard for number 2, Dan Albright. It'll go back to the Red Raiders. So Ben Ortel comes back in the game. One of the things about the Dutchmen that's really difficult is that they have a 6-man rotation. And with a team with 11 guys, it's really necessary to try to get as many people in as possible, because a lot of those guys are going to get tired at the end of the game, and you can't be going on fumes when it comes to a tight-knit game in the 4th quarter. Will Ibar gets it to Sadden, to Josh Ibar. He looks around, Sadin to Ibar. Ibar for three, and he hits that one. Will Ibar gets his first three of the game, and the Colony Red Raiders take back the lead. And Will Ibar tied with his younger brother with the most threes on the team. They both have 9, so definitely good to watch out for them on the wings. Grant Mengel with a nice bank shot takes back the lead for the Dutchman. And Grant Mengel is such a really great player, good inside the paint and beyond the three. So he's a really key player for the Dutchman, and it's really good to see him put some boards on for the Dutchman. Mole steps up, can't quite get the three, and a battle for the ball picked up by Ortel. What a nice fight. And he is fouled by number 1, Josh Ibar. That will be his second, team's fourth. So, as I mentioned before, it's really great to see this energy from the Dutchman. A lot of people fighting for the ball, and it's really good that the Dutchman seemed really lackadaisical when it came to Shen, and Shen putting on a really great defensive performance, but it's really good to see the energy. Josh Ibar with a quick steal puts it back up for the Raiders, and they take back the lead 16-15. Albright brings it up, tries to split the double team, gets it to Hoffman. Hoffman with some fancy dribbles gets fouled on the play, almost gets it to the basket. And Brendan Hoffman, basically the lead point guard for the Dutchman, has great fundamentals in terms of dribbling, in terms of shooting, and it's really good to see him bring some fire to the Dutchman team. The foul was on number 12, Will Ibar. That's his first, and the team's fifth. And Grant Mengel just misses the easy layup, and it's back to the Red Raiders. Will Ibar brings it past midcourt. Looks into Sadin. Sadin to Ibar. Back to Sadin. Sadin in the corner. Gets it back to Ibar. Ibar to his brother. Gets it to Mole. Mole to Will Ibar. Will Ibar to Sadin. Sadin drives in. Gets it to Will Ibar for three. Can't hit that one. And a good save by Hoffman, but hands it right back to number 23, Isaiah Mole, for the easy bucket. A little over 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Hoffman brings it up. Colony Red Raiders put on the press. Albright trying to break through. Gets it past midcourt to Ortel. Back to Hoffman. Hoffman guarded by Will Ibar. Gets it to Mengel. In the corner to Teeny. Teeny tries to get it to Ortel, but ends up getting blocked, and Will Ibar brings it up. Will Ibar tries to get it in just a little too much, and it's back to the Dutchman. Here comes Hoffman. Hoffman to Mengel. Mengel to the paint. Gets it to Albright. Albright goes baseline. Gets it to Mengel for three, and he hits it. Grant Mengel with a three-pointer ties the game back up. And as I mentioned before, a guy who's so good in the paint is also really efficient behind the three-point line. So it's really good to see him use all of the possible outcomes and it's really good to see him use multiple parts of the floor. Ibar to Sadin. Sadin for three, and he hits that one. The battle of the threes goes on with a little over 3 remaining in the second quarter. Colony takes back the lead by 3, 21-18, as Hoffman brings it up. Hoffman gets it past midcourt, being guarded by number 1, Josh Ibar. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel back to Hoffman. And Hoffman looks like he just stepped out of bounds. It'll go back to the Red Raiders. Number 1, Matt Bender, checks back in for the Dutchman. Will Ibar brings it up for the Red Raiders. He gets it past midcourt. Dutchman in a 2-3 zone as it is past number 4, Brian Johnstone. Sadin to Mole. Mole up top. Gets it to Johnstone. Johnstone comes around, gets it to Will Ibar. Gets it to Sadin for three. Can't hit that one. Picked up again by number 23, Isaiah Mole. Will Ibar gets it back to Mole. Loses control. Sets up for three, and he hits that one. Having a bit of trouble behind the three, but he hits his first one of the night. The Red Raiders go up by 6. Bender comes up, being guarded by Johnstone. He goes into the paint. He goes up, tries to get past number 20, Donovan Canty, and can't quite get it, and there's a fight for the ball. And jump ball remains here for the Dutchman. And another great job, great hustle by number 24, Ben Ortel, who's been all over the place so far this game. Ortel gets it to Teeny. Teeny goes baseline. Gets it to Hoffman. And it looks like an up and down. It will go back to the Red Raiders. And the Red Raiders doing a great job defensively too. Dutchmen have been making a lot more shots so far this game, but the Colony Red Raiders have been doing a good job the last few possessions shutting out the Dutchmen. Will Ibar brings it to the top of the key, gets it to Sadden. Sadden to Johnstone. Gets it to Mole. Mole guarded by Hoffman, gets it to Ibar. Johnstone in the corner. Looks around, gets it back to Ibar. Mole. Dribbling on the outside. Cross-court pass to Johnstone. Gets it back to Ibar. 1 second. And 30-second violation, and the defense comes right back for the Dutchman. Couple good defensive plays by the Raiders, and the Dutchman answer right back with a 30-second violation. So the basket does not count. It remains 24-18 with 1:29 to go in the second quarter. Albright bringing it up, gets it to Hoffman, back to Albright. Albright to Hoffman. Hoffman just past midcourt, guarded by number 12, Will Ibar. Gets it to Teeny. Teeny drives in, but took a couple steps before he dribbled. That will be a travel, and it is back to the Red Raiders. Will Ibar gets it to Mole. Mole will bring it up for the Red Raiders. Picked up his dribble. Gets it to Ibar. Cross court to Mole. Johnstone up top. Gets it to Ibar. Ibar on the wing. Gets it to Mole in the corner. Guarded by Mengel. Gets it back to Sadden. Sadden on the baseline. Sadden goes in. Gets it back out to Ibar. Ibar in the paint. Gets it to number 20, Donovan Canty, for an easy layup. Colony Red Raiders go up by 8. Hoffman bringing it up for the Dutchman. Just about 30 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel to Albright. Albright to Bender. Bender to Albright. Drives in. Gets it back out to Bender for 3, and he sinks it. That is the second three-pointer by number 1, Matt Bender. And so it's good to see that the three ball is working for the Dutchman. The last time against the Plainsmen, they were having trouble hitting from behind the arc, but it's good to see them come back. Last 5 seconds. Mole misses the basket. Hoffman shucks it, but it hits the ceiling. That will end the first half. The Colony Red Raiders with a 5-point lead over the Dutchman, 26-21. A very hard-fought half against a very skilled Colony Raiders team. And so that ends it for the first half. I am Jason Sindoni, and we will be back for your second half coverage. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half coverage of tonight's game between the Gillen Dutchmen and the Colony Red Raiders. It has been a hard-fought first half as the Gillen Dutchmen only trail the very tough Colony Raiders by 5 points. They've been battling all the way, and this is going to be a real exciting second half. And so it starts off for the Dutchmen. Bender up top. Goes in on Josh Ibar, gets it back to Mengel. Mengel on the wing, gets it to number 3, Hoffman. Hoffman trapped on the wing, gets it back to Albright. Less than 5 seconds. Bender goes around, gets it to Hoffman. Quick 3, can't quite get it off. And Isaiah Mole brings it up for the Colony Red Raiders. Mole up top, gets into the paint. And there's a foul on the plate. Foul is on number 3, Brendan Hoffman. That's his team's first. So we mentioned a lot about number 23, Isaiah Mole, the highest scoring player on the Colony Raiders, averaging over 20 points a game. He's been scoring most of the points for the Colony Raiders at quite an excessive rate. And Dutchmen have to limit him to as little points as possible in order to win this game. Sadden to Ibar. Will Ibar to Josh Ibar. Josh Ibar for 3, can't quite get it. Saved by Mole, who goes baseline. Can't quite get the shot, picked up by Ortel. Back to Bender, and here come the Dutchmen. Cross-court pass to Mengel. Mengel goes up, and he gets it to roll. Another nice basket by number 23, Grant Mengel. Will Ibar brings it up for the Red Raiders. Sadden in the corner to Josh Ibar. Back to Sadden. Will Ibar, guarded by number 2, Dan Albright. Sadden for 3. He gets that to go, and the Red Raiders go up by 6. So both Sadden and Isaiah Mole got a few threes in the second half, which has helped them take a small lead. And so a long pass by Red Raiders goes out of bounds. It is back to the Dutchmen. And so it's really good to see the Dutchmen have a little life because, as mentioned before, starting 1-3 on the season and against a very tough Raiders team, it's really good to see some life in them and really good to see some action back into this gym. Hoffman called for the travel. It will go back to the Red Raiders. Will Ibar brings it past midcourt. Gets it to Josh Ibar. Mole in the paint. Guarded by Ben Ortel. Mole drives in and gets the basket to roll. Red Raiders go up by 8 with another basket for number 23, Isaiah Mole. Albright bringing it up for the Dutchman. Guarded by number 10, Aaron Sadden. Mengel to Hoffman in the corner. Goes around back to Mengel. Mengel to Albright. Albright goes around, gets it to Ortel with a nice give and go, and another nice basket for number 24, Ben Ortel. As we mentioned in the first half, very dynamic defensively and offensively, scoring the first 6 of the 11 points in the first quarter, and he continues to be productive here in the second half. Mole on the outside, guarded by Bender. Sadden at the top of the key. Gets it to Will Ibar. And his brother to Josh Ibar. Back to Will Ibar. Will Ibar drives in with a crazy pass to Sadden, and Sadden hits a 3. Already 2 threes in the third quarter. And as we've seen before, both Josh and Will Ibar, fantastic point guards for the Colony Raiders. Very difficult to stop. And as we see here, very good in terms of passing to their teammates. Ortel goes around and he almost gets the basket. He will go to the line to shoot 2. And so the foul is on number 12, Will Ibar. That's his second team's first. So Ben Ortel really putting a lot of hustle in so far this game, and it's really good to see the Dutchmen starting to drive into the paint. A lot of times they have been shooting from behind the arc and not getting a lot of results. And so as Ben Ortel sinks his first free throw, this is going to matter a lot more in the game. And misses the second, picked up by Mole, and he brings it up for the Red Raiders. And Mole, step up three, can't quite get it. Picked up by Albright, and he brings it up. Guarded by Will Ibar, gets it around to Bender. Bender to Hoffman. Hoffman from deep, and he sinks it. Number 3, Brandon Hoffman with a nice three. It looks like the three-pointers are clicking in this game. They were in the first half and now in the second half. Will Ibar gets it on the wing to Sadden. Josh Ibar. Back to Sadden. Sadden to Mole. Mole. Sadden guarded by Albright. Mole to Will Ibar gets picked by number 24, Ben Ortel, and here comes Hoffman. Albright on the wing. Can't quite get it for three. Picked up by Mole. Almost taken. Look at the hustle by Albright. Can't quite get it. And here comes Mole. Mole on the wing. Josh Ibar for three. He's able to sink that. Already 3 3-pointers for the Colony Raiders as they bring the lead back to 8. Albright on the key. Gets it to Hoffman. Bender putting it on the ground. Ortel comes around. Gets it to Mengel. Mengel drives into the paint. Trying to get it to Ortel. Can't quite get it. A crazy pass by Josh Ibar. And an amazing save by Mole, but no one for the Red Raiders there as Hoffman brings it back up. Bender in the corner. Looks like it got tipped, and he misses the shot. Sadden gets it to Ibar, and here come the Red Raiders. And great defensive play by number 3, Brendan Hoffman, ends up knocking it out of bounds. It will remain Colony ball. And Ryan Teeney subs back in for the Dutchman. Someone who hasn't gotten a lot of time, but has had some good results. Problem is he has been having trouble from behind the arc, so he's got to work a little more inside. And the pass into number 3, Shai Young, and he is fouled on the play. Fouls on number 23, Grant Mengel. That's his first, team's second. And so Shai Young hasn't had a lot of time at the foul line, but he is 2 for 2. And we mentioned there are a few players. Isaiah Mole in particular, 18 of 27. Will Ibar 9 for 13, and Josh Ibar 6 for 6. So many players have had some success at the foul line, and that's another reason why they've been such a dominant team. And so Shai Young misses the first and makes the second. And so a timeout is called by the Dutchman. And one of the things that hasn't been talked about much is the future of this team. It is just the beginning of the season, as we mentioned. This is only the 5th game of the season. But in terms of the future, 7 of the 11 players on the Gillen Dutchman are seniors. So you're not going to have many players coming back. And so it's really important to find out who's going to fill up those spots. And what's crazy is that the 3 juniors, Kyle Glenn, Chad Buckley, and Brandon Caulfield, have gotten practically no time on the court this season. These guys are going to be seniors next year, so it's good to get them some time. And as we mentioned before, Dutchman, they usually have a 6-man roster, most of them seniors, and number 22, Ryan Teeney. And so it's going to be really important for them to continue to get more people involved, because if they stick with the 6-man roster, the future might be tough for the Dutchman leading into next year. Hoffman at the top of the key, gets it to Bender. Bender looking inside, back to Hoffman. Hoffman comes around, gets it to Mengel in the paint. Mengel with the jump shot, can't quite get it. Picked up by Ibar, and back to Mole. Mole with just a little too fast, misses the layup, and Hoffman hurries it back up the court. Hoffman in the paint, blocked by Will Ibar. Sadden brings it up, and a long pass gets it to Mole. Mole in the paint on Bender, doesn't get the charge, and he puts it up for Colony. Red Raiders now leading 40-29 with about 2 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bender brings it past midcourt. Looking in, gets it to Hoffman. Hoffman back to Bender. Bender to the corner to Albright for 3. He can't quite get it. And Josh Ibar with a fast break gets it up the court. And with some fancy moves, can't quite get it. Will Ibar can't get it, but there is a foul on the play. Fouls on number 3, Brandon Hoffman. That's his second, and Ben Ortel comes back in for the Dutchman. Josh Ibar on the wing for 3, can't quite get it. Sadden back to Will Ibar, and they reset. Will Ibar up top. Dutchman in the 2-3 zone, trying to keep them on the perimeter. Will Ibar to Sadden. Ibar again gets it to Young. And stolen by Bender, and here he comes up the court. Bender to Albright. A little too tricky with the passing. Gets it to Hoffman. Hoffman can't hit the 3 and is picked up by Mole. And almost picked off by Hoffman. And they call an offensive foul on number 10, Aaron Sadden. Another fantastic defensive performance by the Dutchman. And they steal another possession from the Red Raiders. And so the foul on number 10, Aaron Sadden. So that's his second, team second. So currently not in any foul trouble. But it's, as mentioned before, it's really good to have these things work for you. As we've seen before, we've seen Matt Bender make those plays defensively and offensively. So it's really good to see that he's able to put that into use. Mole with the steal. Gets fouled, can't quite get it, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is again on number 3, Brendan Hoffman. That's his third. 2 quick fouls for him, so he's got to be careful he doesn't get into some more serious foul trouble. Isaiah Mole sinks the first. As we mentioned, he is quite good from the foul line, 18 of 27. And so Bender comes back in for number 2, Dan Albright. And Mole sinks the second. Colony goes up by 13, 42-29 with about 45 seconds remaining in the third. Hoffman to Bender. Bender guarded by Josh Ibar. Gets it to Teeny. Teeny to Mengel. Mengel for 3. Can't quite get it. And back to Hoffman. Can't get it either. Ortel with a long pass ends up getting stolen. And here comes Mole. Oh, but he can't get the dunk. Missed the dunk. Frustrated. Goes back after Hoffman. And with the steal again, able to make up for it by passing number 12, Will Ibar. And another basket for the Raiders. What a crazy sequence of events for the Colony Red Raiders. Under 3 seconds, Bender hits the 3. What a clutch shot for Matt Bender. That's his third 3 of the game. What a great way to end the third quarter. And so, Colony Red Raiders still with a 12-point lead, 44-32. And as we've seen from the Dutchman, rather low-scoring games. The game against Shenendehowa on Tuesday, they lost 49-36. This game looks like it's a little more competitive, and the shots are going, but still quite light scoring. And so as we proceed into the fourth quarter, Isaiah Mole continuing to be dominant. And that's probably one of the tough things, as we mentioned before, the height is huge for the Red Raiders. They have 3 guys who are 6'5", and Isaiah Mole who's 6'7". Tallest players on the Gillen Dutchman team are 6'3", so height is a really big factor when it comes to games like basketball. And right now, it's going to be tough because on this current team, not many people have height, and there's not much height in the future for the Dutchmen. So that's going to be a quality that they're going to really have to yearn for when more games come on. And so back for the fourth quarter, the final 8 minutes of the game. The Colony Red Raiders will take it out. Josh Ibar on the side gets to his brother, Will Ibar, who will bring it up for Colony. Josh Ibar on the wing, guarded by Hoffman. Gets it to Mole. Mole to Sadden. Will Ibar. on the wing, gets it back to Sadden. And last touch by number 10, Aaron Sadden. It'll go back to the Dutchman.
Canty checks in for the Raiders.
And so we talked about Isaiah Mole a lot, but along with his points, he has been a fantastic rebounder. He's on one possession, he had about 3 or 4 rebounds just by himself. And so when you have a great point scorer, sometimes when you have a great rebounder, it's just more threats and more trouble for the Dutchman. Hoffman gets it back to Bender. Bender goes into the paint on Mole, but gets blocked, and he goes down hard. And Will Ibar brings it back up. Gets into the paint, loses it. Ortel with the ball, gets it back to Hoffman. Hoffman brings it up. Gets it to the wing. Grant Mengel gets around the pick. Looking inside, gets it to Teeny. Teeny to Mengel. Mengel to number 1, Matt Bender, who puts it up. Can't get that one. Picked up by number 20, Donovan Canty, back to Mole. And Colony comes back. Will Ibar bringing it up for the Red Raiders. Slowing it down, getting to his brother Josh Ibar. Ibar on the wing gets to the Mole, and a quick pass to number 20, Donovan Canty, for an easy basket. Colony takes the lead back up to 14, 46-32. Hoffman being guarded by Ibar, dribbling around. Teeny wide open, can't get the 3, and another rebound by Isaiah Mole, and Colony comes back. And so a foul on the ground will prevent the shot. Foul is on number 22, Ryan Teeny. Dan Albright subs back in for Teeny as we have about 6:19 left on the clock. Mole from behind the arc. Sinks the 3, doesn't get the call, but continues his dominant performance, and the Red Raiders go back up by 17. Albright to Bender. Bender gets it to Mengel. Bender in the corner trying to get out. Gets it back to Albright. Albright coming around, gets it to Bender. Hoffman underneath with a nice play. Gets one dribble and puts up a nice basket. Brendan Hoffman doing a fantastic job for the Dutchman. Offensively, defensively, he is a very good all-around player and someone that the Dutchmen really need handling the ball. Josh Ibar in the Mole. Sadden for 3. Sadden can't quite get it. He's been on fire from behind the arc lately, and that's one of the first that he's missed. Hoffman dribbles to the corner, almost goes out of bounds. Albright to Grant Mengel, can't hit the 3. Sadden with a long pass to Mole, and that time he sinks the dunk. He missed his other dunk in the third quarter. He's able to make up for it, and the lead remains at 17. Colony Red Raiders up 51-34 as the Dutchmen take a timeout. And so one of the really good things about this Dutchman team is that many of these players have played little to no time last year. We're talking about players like Matt Bender, really skilled players, including Ortel. Mengel was probably the one who had the most time on last year's team. But besides that, many of these players have been just sitting the bench for most of the year last year. And now they're getting tons of minutes, as mentioned before, only a 6-man rotation. So it's really good to see these guys get a lot of action and to show what they're capable of doing. All that time on the bench and now all this time playing the game. I can't imagine, but it must be a really elating feeling and really fun to play in front of your home crowd. And so, Gillen Dutchman trying to find a big final push with a little over 5 minutes remaining. They are down by 17. So a lot has to go right for them. They want to get back into this. Albright bringing it up for the Dutchman. Bender on the wing, guarded by Will Ibar. Mengel to Albright. Albright looking in. Can't quite get it. Goes to the paint to Ortel. Ortel gets fouled, and he will go to the line to shoot 2. And Isaiah Mole not liking that call. That's the team's 3rd foul. The foul is on number 4, Brian Johnstone, so not on number 23, Isaiah Mole. That is Johnstone's 1st of the game. And Ortel sinks his first free throw of the 4th quarter. Ortel continuing to do a good job at the line, sinks both of those free throws, trying to reduce the gap as much as possible, as less than 5 minutes remain in the 4th quarter. Will Ibar, guarded by Brendan Hoffman, goes to the wing, goes into the paint, pulls up for the jumper, and he sinks it. Another good jump shot by number 12, Will Ibar. At only 5'6", the smallest player on the Colony Raiders team, but has been proven to be very efficient. Ortel by the base. Gets into Mengel. Mengel driving into the paint. Bender for 3. Hits it again. What a fantastic performance by number 1, Matt Bender. He has been on fire from behind the arc. And so a sub for the Gillen Dutchman, number 22, Ryan Teeney, subs back in. And we have to mention Ryan Teeney. He's the only sophomore on the team, and he's got more minutes than all the juniors combined. He's been doing a really impressive job. A guy who's done great on his JV team and impressed the coach so much that he's in the starting 5, basically, for the Dutchman. And another quick basket by number 12, Will Ibar. The Dutchman try to come back, stolen by Josh Ibar. A long pass to Isaiah Mole as he is fouled on the play. So that is the Dutchman's 5th foul, 5th team foul, actually 6th team foul. Fouls on number 24, Ben Ortel, that's his 1st. Luckily for the Dutchman, none of their players are in foul trouble. And with only 3:44 left in the game, that is something that they don't need to worry about. Will Ibar gets it back to Josh Ibar. Back to Will Ibar, hits the 3. Fantastic 4th quarter by number 12, Will Ibar, who's had 7 quick points in the past couple minutes. Grant Mengel on the wing, gets it back to Bender. Bender guarded by Josh Ibar. Bender goes around, gets it to Albright. Albright for 3, and he sinks it. Albright, having some trouble behind the arc this game, is able to hit it. And another nice 3-pointer by the Gillen Dutchman. Will Ibar gets it to Josh Ibar. Back to Will. Will looking inside, trying to restart the play, slowing it down, gets it to Mole. Mole to number 20, Donovan Canty, back to Will Ibar. And another difficult shot, number 12, Will Ibar, putting on a performance. And the Colony Raiders go back up by 18. Bender on the wing, puts up a 3, can't quite get it that time. Rebound by number 23, Isaiah Mole. Mole with a long cross-court pass to Josh Ibar. Will Ibar, that's his first shot that he's missed in a while. Picked up by Mengel, and a crazy pass to Teeney. Back to Mengel. And with a nice move, is able to get the basket and one. A fantastic move by number 23, Grant Mengel. The foul's on number 20, Donovan Canty. That's his first team's 4th. And so Josh Ibar will sit for the Red Raiders. Did a fantastic job for them. And there's another sub. And number 35, Jalen Turner, subs out number 23, Isaiah Mole, who is quite dominant in his performance against the Dutchman today. And so Grant sinks 1 of 2, and they bring in number 21, Kyle Glenn, getting some minutes. And so he's only had practically a few minutes all season, so it's really good to see him in the game and get some time. Also for the Dutchman, number 15, Angel Rodriguez. Let me tell you, this guy's got a lot of fire, and it stinks that he doesn't get a lot of time, but it's really good that he's able to get in the game just like Kyle Glenn. And number 22, Mike Dunn gets it back out to Johnstone. Will Ibar dribbling into the paint. And he's able to get it to number 30, Logan Scott, for the basket. And so it looks like most of their starters besides Will Ibar, coming out for the Red Raiders. And some good footwork by number 15, Angel Rodriguez, moving it around. And so we see Brandon Caulfield for three. Number 34, Brandon Caulfield, not a lot of time. And it's really good. First shot of the game hits a three. It's really good to see him come alive. He has a brother, Justin Caulfield, who's a senior playing at CBA. Both of them very talented basketball players. And it's really good to see him in the game. Will Ibar to number 35, Jalen Turner, back to Ibar. Turner for three. Looks like it was tipped, and Chad Buckley gets it up to Caulfield. Caulfield brings it up for the Dutchman. Glenn trying to get into the paint, and a quick steal by number 12, Will Ibar, and he puts it in again. He's been having quite a good fourth quarter for the Red Raiders, as we have about 30 seconds remaining. Kyle Glenn gets it to Caulfield. Caulfield working around. Teeny up top. Looking on the inside. Gets it back to number 15, Angel Rodriguez. Rodriguez dribbling around. Back to Teeny. Trying to get a good shot. Caulfield. Back to Glenn. Glenn in the corner. Guarded by number 30, Logan Scott. Caulfield. Teeny for three. And he can't sink it, but back to Caulfield. And he hits the three again. 2 for 2 from three. I must say, a tough loss, but a great way to end the game, as number 20, or I apologize, number 34, Brennan Caulfield with 2 threes, ends up getting 6 points in only 2 minutes for the Dutchman. A great performance, but they still fall short to the Colony Red Raiders, 64-51. And so the Dutchman moved to 1-4 on the season, Colony Raiders 4-2. And that's all that we have here for the GHS Media. I am Jason Sidoni, and we all wish you here a good night.